coming to you from Strings and Things Studio in Ventura, California. I'm Anne.
I'm Katie.
I'm Karin.
And this is a Strings Unraveled podcast.
Woohoo! Welcome to April.
Hello,
Yay.
April.
It's springtime.
Yay.
And the time changed.
Boo.
No, yay.
But I think it's gonna stay.
Hopefully.
I heard something about the Senate signing a bill.
Yep.
So.
It's a possibility. It hasn't been, completely.
Does that mean that we'll be on the same time as everybody else, or we'll be opposite of everybody else? Because there's this debate in my family about that.
We're gonna stay in daylight savings, so what we're doing now, and not change. So I don't know what that means. As far as other
really
people.
mean anything.
Uh-huh.
Except if those states choose not to. Won't that be weird if there's like 3 states that
But there's already,
never
was it
join
Arizona?
up with us?
That
I know,
doesn't?
but sometimes we're the correct times. Like the correct time
Sure,
relationship.
but they never would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a state
So
in the
you'd
middle
hope
of the country that's an hour behind us or
They
ahead of
just
us.
have to
Everybody does it?
You'd hope that
Yeah,
they
well.
would just okay, this is the one last time.
I hope that this happens, because that would make me happy.
Well, I'm so sick of the change.
Uh-huh.
And I realized that I was born during daylight savings time because I had been holding on to this idea that, they'll probably do it on daylight savings time and I'll be short that hour for the rest of my life. But not if you're born during daylight savings time. So I'm finally cool. I'm just really sick of the change. So no more. No mas.
That would be nice. Well, who wants to start with what they're working on? I'll start with what I'm working on.
All right, let's go, Katie.
Okay, I currently, in my hands, am knitting a 4-year-old project that I found in my office. This is a very basic raglan sweater knit with the yarn that we dyed
It's gorgeous.
4 years ago. And I am working on this because I finished my simple project today during drop-in.
Woo!
And the project that I was going to work on is Graphica, but I have an injured finger on my left hand right now, and doing 2 color work with this splint thing on my finger has proven to be very slow and obnoxious. So
yeah, no,
I will. I'll do it next week or something when my finger feels better.
It's like watching a movie when you're in the wrong mood for it. It will ruin the movie.
Yeah.
Even if it's for me, that's usually comedies. I'm usually game for most other genre anytime.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm in the wrong mood in a comedy,
Yeah, you're not gonna have a good time.
I hate it.
Yep. So I'm knitting on a very basic knit in the round. But when I'm not working on this, I'm also working on Graphica. So those are basically my 2 things that I'm actively working on, because I finished a couple things this month.
Woo!
So that's it for me.
You'll talk longer in the next go.
A little bit, yeah.
What are you working on, Karin?
I've got 4 things out here because those are the 4 things I've chosen this month.
Uh-huh.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. There's more than 4, but I'm only counting the ones that grab my attention now.
You're actively working on.
Yeah, I believe that is
So
a good rule of thumb.
I have Luna Fade and Luna Fade 2.0. And when I was going to teach them together, but I realized they're not the same pattern in 2 different weights.
Is it Luna or Lunar?
Luna.
Oh, yeah, you
Luna.
talked about one of them last time.
Yes. So I actually, whatever I did last time, I ripped out because I didn't want to start with that color. So, but I almost I'm halfway to caught up.
It's a shawl, right?
It's a shawl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it has this really neat, the knit and front and back kind of Tunisian crochet version of it. But I decided to change out my colors, and also I realized I was doing one edge completely wrong, and that's why the 2 sides didn't look the same. And I, instead of reading the pattern and following the pattern and deciding I like this better, after a while I'm like, no, I don't like that better, and it is not what she designed, and I do like what she designed better. So
I love that you were using positive self-talk, though.
Yeah.
it's like, come on, just follow the freaking pattern, Karin.
Sometimes
No.
it's like,
I
you know
like
what?
the other.
Just do it the right way.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's
I
not
can
a
come
right or
up
wrong
with-
way. Just do it the way it was intended.
Right, but I can come up with a lot of ways to justify the quote mistake that I have made. So it is nice to sometimes just
it was
like, okay, I'm just going to start over.
It's a modification that just didn't work.
There you go.
And also, I realized I didn't want the pink color next to my face going light to dark. I really wanted to start with the color I like the most, which to me, this shade, no matter who makes it, is Whiskey Barrel.
It looks like Whiskey Barrel.
That's what I've been like waiting to say. Like, is that Whiskey Barrel?
It's not, but
it's
certainly
not.
is.
It is.
Whiskey Barrel is a Madeline.
This is called Dante.
Oh, that's right. I was like, of course, that's what Dante's shirts look like.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can hear us.
Not your Dante.
Dirty. I know, dirty Dante.
But yeah, so the DK weight is a different increase than the Luna Fade 2.0, which is fingering weight, of which I'm using Stash.
Nice.
Oh, I love that color.
And this color is from the
it's something
Easter egg. It's something it's the hedgehog fibers that I picked up at our swap.
Nice.
And
stashed again.
Stash. Yeah. So while the DK one is the same row over and over and over and over again, the fingering weight is a different increase that gives it more of a slightly, I don't know, I guess lacier edge because there's a little more yarn overs involved. And then it has the bottom edge is going to be more lace.
Nice.
Also in Tunisian crochet, but it's a 2-row repeat where you increase 2 times on each side 1 row, and then 3 times each side on the opposite row. So you really have to keep track of, am I on row 2 or row 3, row 2 or row 3. So that's Luna Fade 2.0. Both of them are from Natalie of Detroit Knots, Knots. You can find her on Instagram and on Ravelry. Those are her things.
Nice.
And on both of them, I'm using Stash. So let's see. What else am I working on? I am working on, of course, the thing I haven't touched since last month that we're all working on, Graphica.
Nice.
I just got distracted by other things, but I picked it back up. At least I picked up the... I picked up the bag.
I don't think you had started it last month. I think you had the yarn dyed, but I don't think you had cast on yet.
You were going to rewash your yarn.
Yeah. Well, then let me show you what I've done.
Yes, please. I'd love to see it.
Okay, well, you saw the swatch. So, I got... That's right, because I took it... It took no time at all to get through the first 2 charts.
Yeah. I'm on like the 5th one, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so many stitches.
But then I stopped because I got distracted by other things.
Oh, yeah.
So... and I'm loving how it's coming out.
Nice.
I'm loving. So I'm at the doodle. The second doodle that's like a loop-de-loop.
Very
that
cute.
was really fun. And I kept it visible where I could see it from my side of my bed. All as me zipping up the bag.
My grandma used to say, if you put something somewhere, no matter where it is, and then you walk by it 3 times, that's where it lives. So even though you could like see it.
Oh, you know what? Then nothing in my house has a home. It all lives out in my visibility. Well, so therefore, I should never put anything away. Yes, I should. There's other people that need to live there too.
I'm not going to judge you on that.
Okay, so I do have another knitting project, but I want to wait before I talk about it. I'm going to do it last because the yarn for it's yummy. But I'm doing a non-knitting thing.
Gorgeous.
And this is a bead weaving, and it's a little wider because it's actually like 25 beads wide.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm doing Starry Night.
Makes me want to get my bead loom out that I haven't touched in years.
Yeah, this is really, really fun. I found on Etsy, a couple of designers that have some really fun designs rather than just generic throw some beads in a row, but following a pattern. It's a chart. You follow it. I highlight where I've been and mark it off. I guess I draw a line through it. I mark it off, and then I put a Post-it. But I'm about more than, I'd like to say I'm halfway because I'm at almost to row 40, but I forgot there's 100 rows. Oh. So I'm about 40% through.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Is it a bracelet?
Yeah, it's a beaded bracelet.
Very pretty.
And I even have the stuff to finish it. It has these clamps that slide on to the last row of beads.
Yeah.
That makes it nice.
Cool.
I'll show you it's like you would expect a Starry Night to look like. And I'm using a tray.
Did you say who the pattern was by?
It is by Scarab Jewels. And I think you can find her on Instagram as well as on Etsy. Beading tutorials. Now, she says it's beading tutorials, but there's no instructions about. There's really no. It says technique, loom bead weaving, but she doesn't actually tell you how to loom bead weave.
Okay.
It's just here's
but
the
you
finished,
got a pattern.
But I like the layout of her pattern. Her photos are really clear. The list of, at least she has her layout of what beads you need, and she has like a little dot next to it that gives you an idea of what color it is. This particular one uses 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 colors. And some of them are very close, so I'm really glad that she's got them labeled really nicely to see. There's the picture. It looks very pretty. Like
a slice of a painting.
A slice of a painting, yeah. She's got some other really, really cute ones. There's another designer that I was going to start, but whose name I forgot. But this particular one, she had scarabjewels.com has just a lot of really great fun patterns, from like the eyes of an owl or eyes of an animal print, and they're just really unique. There's a lot of shading involved to them. So
cool.
That's fun.
Very cool.
It's a different. Sometimes it's good to get into more than just fiber crafts. I mean, technically it's fiber because it's got string.
Sure, strings and things.
Strings and things. This is part of the and things part.
It's part of the strings.
It is part of the strings. Everything we do is really string related. Okay, so then the last thing I'm working on, and I had to get some other stuff off, get some not fun tasks off my plate before I allowed myself to touch this stuff.
What is that giant ball of yarn?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got some Nutiden yarn from Sweden. It's unspun yarn. And I'm doing the coloring book Raglan by Amy Scherr.
Okay.
Sherr. And I'm doing it double stranded because I tried it single strand and it's just too delicate for that. But you do it double strand and it's really quite easy. I was trying to get gauge. I had to go down a needle size to still have a good fabric and get gauge. And it's plate. They call them plates, and like we have hanks and skeins and balls, but unspun yarn comes in plates.
Okay.
So there, and it is kind of like
what was that Noro stuff? A rainbow roll?
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. It's like a pencil roving.
Yep. Very cool.
And some really, really pretty shades. And they even gave me some extra freebie stuff.
Nice.
So they only do this is this orangey one that has all these beautiful heathers to it. This is I was swatching. I was taking out my swatch very, very carefully.
Together they're so pretty.
Because when you do double strand, you get even more heathering. It's just gorgeous. So this one color is kind of like a mauve, but it has hints of yellow and hints of pink in it. Or it's not a mauve. It's like a beige, but it's got these rose colors to it.
It's a
and then
hard color to pin down.
Yeah, and they dye this outside in the snow in Sweden. Everything's I forget, it's Honecker or something like that. If you look up hashtag Nutiden yarn on Instagram, Nutiden.
Yeah.
Honeroker. Honerocheir with umlauts over the first O.
Okay.
I just like to say that word, umlaut. Anyway, they only do updates a couple times a year, and so I was waiting for it. And the Swedish kroners to US dollars is actually really reasonable.
Nice.
I was like, wow, that's really nice. But they do sell quickly, so trying to do I had more colors in mind, and I had to narrow it down to because they only sell a limited number of individual plates. Whereas you get a better price if you do a group of 3 or a group of 5. But what is amazing is it came from Sweden in this ginormous paper bag, and it was completely fine.
Of course.
Oh, it didn't come in a box. It was just in a bag.
No, it came literally in this paper bag. That's why I brought it in the paper bag.
Nice.
So you could. So why does Amazon need to oversize their boxes?
Oh, that's nonsense. Yeah.
Just when this paper bag made it from Sweden pretty quickly. Okay, so I've got one more color, and it's this yellow, but it has little bits of gray to it, and it's just this golden grassy, sunshiny, and it feels very nice. It feels like it's not super soft, but it's not super scratchy either.
Oh no, I like that. Yeah,
it's got this awesome. It has so much loft, and if it does come apart, I don't even have to spit splice it. I just have to like
overlay it,
rub it together.
I don't even have to rub it together. It just wants to grab onto its buddy again.
Nice.
And
they look at each other from across the room. They make eye contact. And they're drawn to each other.
So that is what those are the 4 things I'm working on. That's and now that it's in front of me, I'm just going to keep ribbing with these two plates.
What is the sweater like that you're making with it?
And I wish it's like a regular basic raglan with ribbing at the neck, long sleeve, and it has view A has narrow contrast stripes just at the bottom in the cuffs and at the neck. Oh. View B has wider sleeves. They're 3/4, but a little wider, and it's more of a crop. Mm-hmm. But there's over 14 different ways that you can mix it, and it has wider stripes along the body and along the sleeves. And there's like 14 different ways you can mix and match these two sides. Cool. So I want to do the wider stripes, but with the longer sleeves. Mm-hmm. I tell myself that, but I don't know. View B, it all starts the same. To you except for you have to decide if you want solid or not at the neck. Uh-huh. But once you get to where you are separating the sleeves from the body, then you decide which view you want. Make
the big decisions.
Because the widths and everything are the same, and she gives you even like a page in the back where you can color in your own stripes and possibilities, and mix and match them. So these colors are very earth tone. Plus, I love that they gave me a little stash of pop of orange. I don't know. I was just using that for my swatch. But I'm happy to have it.
Yeah, that orange is the show stealer.
Yeah.
It's one of those I wanted. I thought I almost got. It's like a pumpkin. It's the perfect pumpkin spice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just orange and little bits of chocolate brown and gold in it, and it even has a little bit of the grass still in it. It's just
field matter.
Well, not that stuff.
No, I thought the grass was called field matter too.
That's true. Some of that is field. Sometimes the field matter is also fecal matter.
Field matter, yeah. Matter. I didn't say fecal matter.
No, but anywho, so
I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
So I am working on. I also chose to discuss 4 things. I am making a stripes pullover, which I'm calling my stars and stripes.
Nice.
Exclamation mark. So I got this cool yarn from Hobby, the Danish yarn company.
Is that how we're saying it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hobby or Hobby?
I've been saying hobby, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hobby.
A Danish person, let me know. So it's gonna be an American flag.
Yep.
So I'm doing 13 body stripes across the yoke and into the body, and they're 13 rows tall.
Wow.
And
so patriotic.
Yeah, right. I want to see more like. I keep saying more normal people, and then I remember I'm not normal. But like, I love this country. I don't want it to signal only one kind of person appreciating this country. So I'm making. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
One sleeve, I'm going to strand 50 stars.
Oh my god.
So
the other sleeve's going to be striped?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I can't wait to see it.
I know. So, it's going very well.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
What's it made from? What type of fiber?
So, I love this yarn so much. It is called Twister. And it's Twister Solid, which is 437 yards to 100 grams.
Nice.
So it's a fingering weight, cotton and acrylic blend.
Oh,
nice.
It feels good. It doesn't feel like a makeup thing, but it feels good.
No, that feels
nice and soft.
I am knitting at a 24 stitch to 4-inch gauge because it is kind of fingering and doesn't really have any loft to fill in the space. So I just had to go. I actually only had to go one size up.
Nice.
And it's going really well. And I really like it. I'm going to make a ton of sweaters out of the Hobby.
Yeah.
The Hobby, whatever, Twister. Okay. I used a Scooby.
Yay!
Little cordy
so
things?
The cords, the plastic lacing cords, I really like the little one.
Yeah.
At least in this gauge.
In that gauge,
Yeah.
It's very tricky.
Yeah.
The bigger one's definitely too big for that.
Yeah.
Super easy to get off.
To move from the needle to the cord, the small one was. I helped somebody put their stitches like on an appropriate size one because they were knitting on a size 9 or something, but I didn't like the bigger lace, so that it's a hollow plastic lace that's generally used to do what you do like
Lanyards
the flat but knitters have discovered that it's a good stitch holder. Karin found an amazing deal on them and has been sharing. And this is the first sleeves that I put on.
Yeah, I helped somebody else do it, and it was like, this is pretty tricky.
Yeah, I didn't like the bigger one has a thicker plastic, so the jump from the needle tip to the cord is challenging.
More significant,
But this was very nice, the skinning cord.
Nice.
So that's going very well, and I've got the yoke all done, and as in any sweater that's top down, the yoke is the great barrier. It starts going really quickly, and then immediately you have 300 stitches, and it's not going so fast. I am also working on Graphica, so I gave up looking for my yarn that went missing.
Right.
Somewhere I have a gorgeous cyan and white, and there'll be some other sweater it becomes, or maybe it'll be a second Graphica because I am enjoying this a lot.
Yeah.
So I have purple, which is Cascade Heritage. It's a bright purpley purple.
Very royal purple.
Yeah.
I don't think they have color names. No. Are they just numbers?
Yeah. This is 5719.
Cute.
So if you're looking for a very true royal looking purple, this is very good. And then I'm using Patton's.
Is it Croy?
I think it is Croy. Yeah. And it's a color I've never really seen around before.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a multi-plied kind of marled ply. And it's
very subtle color.
Yeah, it reads almost as a solid, but it's a gentle self-stripe with like a soft sand color, a blue-gray, and a off-white.
Yeah. From across the room, it would look like just a solid color.
Yeah, but it has a subtle...
It'll be interesting to see how it works in with the color work. I think that's pretty.
I am also almost done with chart B. I was grateful that you guys started ahead of me because it affirmed that I wanted to not have my ribbing the same size needle. And I have kind of adapted the short rows from stripes into this yoke. There's 3 sets of short rows in stripes, and you kind of incrementally go out.
I can't remember. Does Graphica have short rows?
No. That was one of the warnings that Katie gave me. You're early enough though that you could do this too.
Are you putting it like between the chart?
Yeah. So I started right away before chart A, after chart A, and then the last one will be after chart B.
Because there's just a couple of them, right?
Yeah, there's 3 in stripes.
I could just do it right after B.
Yeah. So, because I mean, like yoke sweaters, they're putting them all over the place. Like,
yeah, you put it anywhere.
What's her face? Sorrel. It's at the end.
I did some other sweater. I think Strange Brew has the option to put them at the end too.
Because all you need is to pump up the back of the sweater
a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that looks good.
Okay.
I just pulled out my
not necessarily.
Well, no, I could put them at the end, but then I'm like, I don't know if it would make a weird.
Well, you have to go way out. Like you might want to look at how Sorrel puts them in.
I want to complain about this pattern just a tiny bit.
Oh yes, go ahead.
It has options for the sizing, and it's like for the first half of the sizes, you knit through the yoke charts, and then you knit until it's long enough, and then you separate the sleeves. For the larger sizes, you knit through the yoke charts, and then there's enough space, I guess, to throw in one more chart. So there's like an optional chart, B or D or I don't remember what number it is.
Okay.
For those sizes.
Okay.
Which I think we probably fall into the second half, which adds in that extra chart.
Okay.
And if you look at Ravelry, some people's projects, I think on the smaller end, you have this big band of stockinette stitch with no chart in it.
That on hers.
Yeah.
Like I in the pattern. See that. So the bigger sizes are winning here.
Yeah, because but I don't understand why you wouldn't put that in. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
I noticed that on hers, and I was like, oh no, is there going to be this point? Because I didn't read that far ahead, so I'm glad to know that we win.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like once I get through the last chart, I still have a significant ways to go before I separate my sleeves. So I think I'm going to have a space too that I might throw some other little doodle chart in. Because I haven't thought about it yet, but
it jumped out to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, how...
Some of the patterns have a big... Yeah. Something to look out for.
I'm glad to know. Thank you. Again, thanks for going ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ahead of me. I'm glad
I haven't touched it in a few weeks, so
I'm glad I had a lag. Yeah, I thought I'd be really far behind you.
No.
Ooh.
So this is something fun. I was thinking about teaching it on this session, but I didn't hear back from her because she, in her copyright, she has some like very explicit uses, but she doesn't mention teaching. And I'm like, but you're so directive, right, about how you want it used. I'm just going to ask you. Because I don't ask designers very often, but
unless there's a specific...
Right. And there's also the opportunity to have this pattern for free or to pay for it. If I do ever teach it, I will be guiding everyone to pay for it, because you should.
Yeah.
I think she just calls it the Buffalo Check pot holder. And she has a ton of cute pot holders, so I actually think there's an opportunity to like do like pot a block of the month. Yeah.
Fun.
But it's pot holders.
It's very
just
cute.
Don't call it pot club.
Yeah, I might get the wrong. Or yeah, I don't know. Yeah, skunky. The blog is called Yarn and Chai, and she is Rebecca Langford. So she gives, like you kind of mentioned.
Oh, I've made her patterns before.
She looked familiar, like her stuff looked familiar, and I was wondering
you
if
did like a
her.
buffalo plaid something.
I did, but I think Yarn
hat.
and Chai. I think I used her basket, like the mosaic basket, maybe.
Oh,
is one of her patterns.
That awesome basket that we all fell in love with. That's somewhere around.
It's probably, yeah.
With the plastic canvas in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's one of her patterns. Yeah, she has a lot of cute patterns.
Well, then if you've taught her patterns before, I might just go with it.
I will be honest and say I didn't ask her, but I think that one might have just been free. I don't know if there was a paid version of it or not.
Well, I mean, I don't have any problem teaching a free pattern.
Yeah.
So many crocheters make their patterns free.
Yeah.
You fools. So, yeah, I don't have any trepidation about that.
Yeah.
I do, like, reserve a little thought. But this is sort of cool. I'm really excited about gingham right now. I'm really itching to make Jessie Maid's gingham top. I have 2 colorways already
I love that.
set aside. But this I started with Kaity's color here. I have a bright yellow and a soft yellow and a white.
It's really cute.
And then I have a turquoise set and a pink set I'm going to make. So even if I don't teach this ever, it's so flippin' cute. What I was really looking for, and I don't even know who it is, I keep seeing this cute like double crochet gingham bag. She's made it like in white and sage and pink and sage and tan and sage, but I couldn't find any patterns on Ravelry for it. So it might just be something somebody's making and selling.
Maybe.
Or they didn't put it on Ravelry, which I understand some people are doing, but I'm not going to find it that way.
A crochet gingham tote bag? Yeah.
It's more like a little handbag.
Does it look like this?
It is very similar to that.
Well, this is a pattern on Etsy for $5.67.
All right.
Crochet gingham bag pattern from Crochet by Bev Shop.
That looks very much like what I was looking for.
It's real cute.
Yeah. So
gingham is very cute.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also really in right now.
Yes, I have to say that. I mean, I love gingham always, but I like that something I love is on trend.
It's very on trend.
And then I'm limping along on Penguino.
Oh yeah.
The sweater of many colors.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of to a sort of tedious part. There's sort of an interesting underarm gusset, and that slowed me down. I'm looking forward to the bottom band. I'm going to do brioche, so I really am looking forward to that. I just need to break through sleeve island.
Yeah.
And the collar's kind of fun, and then you do a I-cord edging. So I'm looking forward to the last steps. I just need to finish the stupid sleeves.
Yeah.
Or stop on the sleeves and move on to the next thing. Maybe that's what I should do.
That's always a great option, honestly.
I think that might be what I do.
Nice.
But then I'll be on Sleeve Island for a long time. So what's the carrot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Another project.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's what I am actively focusing on.
Nice.
I have another hobby order coming, so I'm sure I'm going to get distracted pretty soon. There's some cute summer weight tops I have like my eye on the horizon. There's some knitters a design group called Poison Girls. Have you guys
I don't know them.
Oh, it's so cute. They're on, I found them on Instagram, and I think it's Poison spelled normally and then girls with 2 R's. And they have like a very 50s aesthetic. And I keep
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, Poison spelled normal, GRRLS. Their patterns are not for purchase on Ravelry, but they're listed as like finished projects. But you buy the patterns through them. Patterns are a little expensive. They're like, I think they started around $10, but okay. All right.
Sure.
That might be why
it's worth it.
As pattern prices go up, might be why I'm making more and more of the same object.
That could, get your bang for your buck.
I think 10 might be the new average.
Well, I mean, inflation is here.
I was going to say, everything
is
expensive, isn't it?
To the grocery store. Ooh.
So they have a cute top called Jailbird Top, and it's just a, like a little cap sleeve,
cute.
2-stripe crew neck.
Is that a short row for the bust, or is that just how it's modeled?
It's just her boobs. Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to put bust shaping short rows in without interrupting that pattern.
It's cute.
But they have a ton of cute things, like a little bomber jacket. There's like a varsity jacket.
Oh, that's cute.
So I think I will be making, depending on how I like this, I think I will be making many of these. This one's really cute. I think this might have been the sweater I found them on. Actually, I know exactly the sweater I found them on.
I've seen that one before.
There's this adorable girl who dresses vintage who replaced, what I was showing was like a vintage style crew neck with a white panel where they have holly leaves. Well, this cutie did acorn leaves.
Oh,
it's an orange sweater with acorns and acorn leaves.
So cute.
She is adorable. If you don't follow her already, by Gumby Golly. She's so cute. She's this adorable redhead who dresses and sews for herself. So I first found her through sewing, but obviously she knits as well. So I know I'm gotta finish these things, or else when my order arrives next week, I will abandon all of these things, and I'll have a whole different 4 things that I'm working on. Actually, I think there's 5 projects in that bag. What have you finished, Katie?
I finished an apron that I made for my sister's birthday. She asked me to make her a like Japanese style crossback apron.
Cute.
About a year and a half ago, and then forgot that I had asked her for this, or she asked me for that, and so I was like, what am I going to get my sister for her birthday? And then I was like, oh, I can make her this apron that she wants. I used a pattern from Etsy from a Etsy shop called Thready Bear Creations, but it was just, it looked like the right shape that she wanted. She sent me a picture, and it was simple. It was easy and effective. It's got nice big pockets on the front. She's going to use it for gathering her chicken eggs. And yeah, I used Essex linen in like a very neutral linen color. I didn't get a picture of it, but I had already wrapped it up and given it to her. So if I can get her to take a picture of it, I will post it. But if you Google it, it looks very much like the sample in the picture from the Etsy shop. So I did that, and I finished, I think I talked about last month or a couple months ago, this tote bag that I was crocheting with the hobby ribbon yarn.
Oh, I've been wondering about it.
So this is the Grindstone tote bag is the name of the pattern. It's fine. I'm not real happy with it, honestly. It's got a front and a back, and then it's got a long like single crochet band that acts as like the gusset and handle. I made the front and half of the handle before I ran out of yarn and needed to buy more. So when I put it down, I picked it back up. I thought I was using the same size hook, and I wasn't. And you can see when it's full where the strap begins and ends. There's like a weird pooch because one side is looser than the other. So
Sorry.
I'm not. No, it's not. And it's, I don't mind that like the front and the back are 2 different sizes. I don't care about that.
That's fine.
But the band ended up being different, and I'm like, I don't know. It's fine. The other problem is that it's real heavy.
Yeah, like, when the bag
when
is
it's
already
empty.
Yeah. Right. It's a heavy bag.
That frustrates me when the bag's already heavy.
I might rip it out and use the yarn for some other project because I like this color a lot. It was called...
You're wearing that color.
I know, right? And I have a pair of pants this color, too.
Mirabella asked me on the way home, there was a boy wearing that color, which is like a pretty rosy salmon.
Yep.
And then it faded into like a fuchsia, like a dip dye. And she's like, what's the deal with these shirts that are like skin color? Like, I don't know if he's wearing a shirt or not from far away.
This is one of my favorites right now. I bought a pair of linen pants that are this color, and this is this color, and something else I saw the other day.
It's my jeans.
It's very similar to Karen's pants.
Like this color is sort of what they call Nantucket red.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the
I have a pair of shorts that color, too.
There's the sailcloth that gets all faded.
Yes.
But that's not ever what actually happened.
Oh.
It's like a manufactured thing in Nantucket.
Right. It's on purpose.
It's not. It's like, it's very stylized. It's not about the sailors in red pants and they just got sun dye.
Right. No, it was on purpose.
Yeah, but it's a gorgeous color and I love it.
Yeah, it's real popular right now and I apparently fall for it because I buy everything that color.
It's a good color on you.
The shorts I have, the colorway was called clay red.
Yeah, like a red clay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it reminds me of. An Arizona clay.
Yeah, that's a good analogy for it.
I finished the Stony Shore pullover, which is right here on our mannequin.
This is so cool.
So I made the Stony Shore cardigan, and then I finished it, and I was like, I should make the pullover too. And I'm kicking myself for not making this in my size. I thought, I'll make a small size so I can get it done fast, and I'll give it to my mom or my sister or something. Yeah. Which, mom or sister, if you're listening, I'll let you try it on. But when I finished it, I was like, I really like it. I wish it fit me. So I'll just have to make another one.
Yeah.
The yarn is Karin Cotton Cakes, which is my favorite.
Yeah,
I love it. It is self-striping. I just let the yarn do its thing. For the most part, I made my sleeves match, but the front and the back don't match as far as like the stripes on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I did a little bit of fancy maneuvering at some points to get like the whole crochet ribbing across the band, not to end with a weird stripe in the middle of that. But other than that, I just basically let the self-striping yarn do what it wanted to do.
And that's the most fun.
Yes, and I really like it. So I probably have another one of those on the horizon. That's a great pattern. I'm going to be teaching it, so if you want to take that class, it's probably up right now, and you could sign up for it if you wanted to. And that's another one of those crochet patterns that's free/pay for. I bought it because I liked it, and it's a great pattern. She's got a lot of really cute patterns. Evelyn and Peter, I think is her blog name. So I finished that. I think I was working on that last time. I made a duffel bag. I didn't bring it with me. It's in my closet.
I saw it.
You saw it, yeah.
It's on Super Buzzy.
Yeah, Super Buzzy posted the picture of it on their Instagram, so if you look, you can see it. It's this fabric collection called Vessel by I can't remember her name, but it's a Ruby Star collection. And it's inspired by the artist who is not only a fabric designer, but a potter. So some of the fabrics in that collection look like little pots and vessels. But it's like a canvas in like a goldeny, like a marigold orange color with some, it's called ladders, like some little stripies. And that was fun to do. It was very easy. It's a free pattern. On the Super Buzzy website, the pattern's called Rain, R-E-I-G-N, Rain Duffel. It's made for that particular canvas, but I used a different one. But that's a free pattern, and it was very fun and easy. I'm kind of kicking myself because when I made it, that pattern doesn't include any sort of like pockets or, anything. And I was like, at the time, I didn't want to think very hard. So I made it without, and I was like, why didn't I put a pocket on the front or like in the lining or something? I didn't do it, but
next time
I'll just have to make it again.
Yeah. Can I compliment your stripes?
Sure.
I mean, I publicly compliment.
Yes, I saw that. I messed up cutting because I wanted the stripes on the straps to go the way they're going, and I wanted the stripes in the bag to go the opposite way. So you got like a juxtaposition. Yeah. And I cut it wrong, so they're all going the same way, and it's fine. It looks good. Thank you, but it doesn't look how I wanted it to. Again, I'll just have to make another one.
I love that, like, the thing I was most impressed with.
Yeah, I didn't even
not what you wanted.
I didn't want that.
Oh, here's a classic.
Yep, this is a baby cardigan. It's called In Threes is the pattern.
So cute.
This is like my favorite baby sweater to recommend to people because you cast on and then you bind off. You have 2 ends to weave in. You don't have to pick up any stitches for the sleeves. They're all worked as you go. Knitted flat, nothing fancy. 1 needle, 1 size, 1 ball of yarn. It's a very effective pattern. It comes in multiple sizes. So I made this one for somebody I know who is pregnant right now with her first. And I finished it this afternoon during drop-in, and I gave it a little steam. And I have 3 little yellow buttons to put on the front.
Oh, I love the color.
This is yarn from the Stash Swap.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I don't know who dyed it, but if you hand dyed a beautiful creamy base with like lots of hot pink and lots of rainbowy speckles, then I used your yarn for this. It's super cute. I really like it. And I have another ball of this left over because there were 2 of them.
Nice.
And so I made this one. You just bind off, or I mean, you could do something fancier, but I just bound off when I ran out of yarn, basically. So that was 1 whole ball of worsted weight, and now I have a little baby gift.
Gorgeous.
And those are my 5 things that I finished this month.
A+. A+.
Thank
All
you.
right. What'd you finish, Karin?
I finished 2 things. Technically 3, but one of them was a big one.
Technically counts.
Okay, I just didn't bring it over. Okay,
that's okay. You can just tell us about it.
I made the yarrow wristlet
Yep.
from Noodlehead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I made it out of Stash linen that I had ice dyed from a bigger project, and I love it. It's a nice little wristlet. It forces me not to over carry stuff. It's just what I need. It's got a pocket. It's got a couple little pockets for your cards. It's got a zipped pocket, little zipper pocket for your change or whatever you want to put in there. So I can put my inhaler and my phone, my COVID card, and my hand lotion. And it's now I did buy the strap pre-made. She gives you instructions to make one, but Zipper Lady, pretty sure it was Zipper Lady, had these straps,
cute,
with a hook and everything
like
out
suede?
of feel it real leather, real suede,
Beautiful.
already
It's
made.
A great color.
yeah,
in
awesome.
multiple colors. I'm like, that's really handy. It's
Works
kind of
smart.
nice to just have that already done.
Yeah.
And so there's the wristlet, and then there's a smaller pouch. So the wristlet has a pocket. The only thing is this pocket doesn't hold anything you put in the pocket's going to fall right out. So it's not a very tight pocket. So I'm not, and if you put a magnetic snap on there, which I could do post everything because it's on the side that does not have the other stuff, then that kind of takes up some space of that outer pocket. But it might make it more useful.
Yeah, because I don't know what you'd put in there that wouldn't just slip out.
Yeah, I thought, oh, good, I'll put some cards, and then out they came on immediately.
That makes me nervous.
I would hand sew a zipper in.
Yeah.
Huh?
I would hand sew a zipper in. Like, I'm looking at it thinking, what would I do in your situation? I mean, I probably never do the solution.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
Well, I have a tool where I can put the magnetic snap because the back of the snap is nice and closed in, so I can install a magnetic snap after the fact, and it won't.
But that eats up some of this pocket space.
But it does eat up some of the pocket space.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it'll make the pocket useful.
That is true.
So, yeah. So, and then like I said, the pouch is like half the size. It is a cute little pouch, and it still has room for it doesn't have a zipped pocket, but it has room for a couple of cards, and maybe you're just running out and you just need a small, tiny little thing. I could see making this out of a fancier material, so it becomes like a nice little clutch.
I made the Noodlehead minimalist wallet a few times, and it's the same thing. It has a larger size, like the wallet size, and then a smaller one that's like card size. And I made one of each, and the card size one I use for my business cards. Not that I hand them out that often, but it's perfect for that. So that is very cute.
And then I finished a design.
Love it.
That is part of, it's a collaboration with Anzula. And it uses almost 1.5 of a main color and one of their chains of mini skeins.
Gorgeous.
And this is called Reefs and Atolls.
I like that.
Well, because they're like concentric circles, and in my head, I think I'm saying something else.
You
But-
atoll, you.
But it's a Tunisian crochet cowl that is kind of also a little stitch sampler, and it's worked flat but joined as you go, so you get the benefit of it looks like it's in the round, but it's worked flat, and then it has a cool little hemmed top and bottom.
Very nice. I love that.
So it's a folded edge, not a ribbing, and you get like a little pop of your main color
That's so tailored
in there. And I'm really, really, really fortunate that my friend Lisa Merriweather of Freely Fiber was my model. I just before the podcast, I went out and I was taking pictures of her in the golden hour. So we got some great, I mean, these colors are, they're the colors I hate the most, right?
Yeah.
the
How
liar.
could you stand to look at those while you were making it?
Yeah, if you know that, then you know that they're ocean. Well, actually, the blues and greens are called ocean, and the main color is this taupey sand. It's called, I think it's called seashore.
Perfect.
So that's why I wanted to, and it's made out of squishy.
Very
Nice.
pretty, and she's a very pretty model. So I bet your
She is
pictures are great.
Fabulous, and she has her own awesome spinning that she does, and I was just really thankful, very, very grateful that she took some time out of her day to be my model for me.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
But that was the two main things that I finished, because this is a really deep cowl. It's cone shaped, but it's like 24 inches deep.
What's the third thing? You said you finished 3 things, but you didn't bring it out.
I just didn't bring it out. It was the pouch that goes with the wristlet.
Oh, yeah.
But it also has its own little wrist strap.
Cute.
I'm
What
going to
color?
also say shout out to Karin because she finished our business taxes too. So
Oh, yeah.
that was probably
yeah.
a lot for this month. So
Yeah, that actually was what kept me from finishing more things. But
that counts as a finished object.
Yeah.
it is a huge finished object. Yeah.
A+.
Thank
and gold
you.
Star. Both things. I told someone today that they deserved a gold star for doing something that was out of their comfort zone. And she says, I deserve 2 or 3.
Oh,
I was
I
like,
like that.
well, yeah, you do.
Yeah, I like
You're
that.
right.
You got it.
I agree.
What'd you finish, Anne?
I finished 1 thing.
Woo!
Woo! It's pretty cute, though. I like
Yeah.
it, and I'm going to make a lot of them, so you're going to get sick of it.
Okay.
It's called Luminous
Ooh.
Summer.
It's pretty.
Ooh, cute.
It came from... Ooh. I wore it already.
Yeah.
There's a little speck of breakfast on there.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, this is a weird yarn. It was a laying yarn that's like a... I don't know how to describe it. It's like wrapped.
Yeah.
And I think it was linen and cotton and
On a
something
silk
else.
core or something.
Yeah, it's got like a core of something with the
Yeah.
other threads
like
wrapped around.
does it have subtle nubs or something?
Yeah.
Like a texture to
Just
it.
the perfect thing to catch a little bit of egg yolk with.
Cute.
And I had 494 yards.
You made a sweater out of only...
No. Because you see it has a black band.
Yes. What weight is this yarn?
This yarn it was 99 yards in 50 grams. So I'm going to
Okay.
call it worsted weight.
Okay.
And the pattern in my size called for 525. There was a ball of something like I think it's called Metallico or something.
Okay.
I think it's a Karin yarn,
Thank
and it's
you.
like black with just like a little sparkle.
Okay.
And it goes
Perfect.
perfect.
I thought
with-
it was completely intentional because
Well,
they
you.
coordinate so perfectly.
It doesn't look out of place.
intentional.
It doesn't look like you ran out of yarn.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
that's the goal.
That was what I was looking for, and that was like 44 yards or 44 grams. So I want to say it like I needed maybe another 100 yards. So it took more like 600 yards instead
the
of the
pattern called for
525.
5, yeah.
And that might be because this stuff isn't very flexible. The laying that's
Yeah.
It doesn't
so it's,
give a
it's
lot.
purple and black and white, and it reads as like a purple black, I think, with speckles of
With
white.
silver, yeah.
It's very easy.
But also, what a great resource if you only have a couple skeins of
Yeah.
DK weight.
Yeah.
That's super cute.
So I'd say the pattern's maybe 15% off of
Okay.
yardage.
I'd like to add that your band of black actually balances it. I like it better with that coordination because I don't know. There's something about the way it breaks it up. The fully purple, I don't know if I would appreciate it much, but because I like how you put a narrow band of that black just on the edges of the sleeves, sleeve caps.
It's almost like the one that Katie's describing in threes. You pick up the sleeve and you do 3 rounds of ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
And
nice.
Then you're done. Mm-hmm. It's essentially ribbing. It's not ribbing. It's actually more like a weird little seed stitch, but you're only working 3 rounds. And the yarn is not a yarn I would ever purchase, but I was happy to have it.
Nice.
And because I'm not like too much a novelty yarn.
Was that also Stash acquisition?
Yeah, this came from the
Swap
stashed
nice. Swap acquisition
from the swap. Yes, I think this was a very expensive yarn when it was for purchase. So here's what I did, because this is challenging yarn to work with. Yeah. I have not woven in all my ends. I only wove in the ends you could see when I wore it. So the cast on, the bind off around the sleeves, any tails that hung low enough. So I did a magic knot, but I left like a 6-inch tail. Okay. And then I'm going to weave these in.
That's very smart.
That's smart.
So I feel really confident in my ends. And this is also like the kind of yarn that starts undoing itself if you leave the end raw. So I have like a little knot. Yeah.
And that is smart because magic knot only works primarily with animal fibers. So if you're not going to do an animal fiber, doing the magic knot, but leave it so it's secure and not going to slide and create a hole, but giving yourself ends to weave in is super smart.
Thank you, as you are the magic knot exposer. That sounds weird. I mean, you shared the magic knot with us, which because I would never normally trust a knot, but this knot is very good.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is, Google it. Or pop in to drop in,
or come in and we can teach you.
I get that
any
too.
of us. Yeah.
So that's
even better. Actually, go with that last thing.
Yeah. Come in, visit us. It's cool. I'm very happy with that, and I have, I think, 3 more plans.
Nice.
At least 2 more plans. There was another ribbon yarn that there is plenty according to yardage. And it's a different type of yarn, so I think it's going to behave better. Because the novelty yarn has no elasticity whatsoever. So I'm thinking that is really why I needed so much more yardage.
Yeah.
It was sort of interesting, you know. I like to be a little bit of a daredevil when subbing or mixing. But I do try to follow the rules of weight to yardage and try to get those close. But sometimes I find myself in these situations where you're almost right in the middle. So this was 99 yards to 50 grams. The yarn I picked up was 151 yards to 50 grams. So that's, on the numbers way different. And so I was like, should I double strand the thinner yarn? So now we're at something that's 75 yards to 100 grams. Well, that's much thicker, but it's close. Versus being 60. So you're like a 25 yard difference versus being a 60 yard difference or 51 yard difference. Anyway, I chose not to double it, and it worked perfectly.
Oh yeah.
But this is a yarn with a lot of elasticity because it's sort of like a braided structure. So it plumped up.
But that makes it perfect for the bottom band because that structure is going to hold the shape.
Yeah, it's good. I need to block it, but it was fine the day I wore it. One of my students made a very cute easy knit dress, knit fabric. I gotta rethink the name of that class, but it's this perfect purple black.
Oh, nice!
And I kind of want to snatch it from her because this sweater would look so cute layered over it.
Very cute.
But you're gonna see it a lot.
I like that.
So yeah, that's what I finished. It's a very usable sweater, but not a lot.
Yeah. Well, today I wanted to talk about the idea of knitting or making, knitting, crocheting, whatever your hobby is, on a budget, or what you can do to make it more financially accessible, because I know I at least have had points in my life where I haven't been able to afford to buy all of the fancy yarn that I wish I could. and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I feel like I know relatively well some tips and tricks, and also brands and things that I like that are a little bit more affordable. So I figured that was probably something we could chat a little bit about.
Why does Katie get to choose the topic again?
Oh, because it's my birthday this month.
Yeah, happy birthday!
Thank you. Yeah, so I got to pick what we were talking about.
That's our tradition.
Yeah. We don't always do it, but, we should. I think we have
this year.
Forgot a few times, but I'm going to reinstate that.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
Okay, so I have a couple of different brands or products that I like as far as affordable options, not cheap, affordable. That's the key word, I think, for today.
Yeah. Well, let's pause on that.
Yeah.
Cheap versus affordable.
Sure.
Like, sometimes it's going to just be cheap, right?
Yeah.
But I was just listening to, Austria just passed a bill about fixing your electronics.
Mm-hmm.
And they will give people like the equivalent of $225 or something like that to fix their broken printer or whatever. And they talked to somebody who runs a fix-it company. That's what I'm going to call it.
Sure.
That's not what he was called. Like, a repair service. A general repair service for electronics and like objects. And he talked about the cost of, like, if you buy a cheap washer versus if you buy a nice washer. Cheap washers are designed to, like, last 3 years. So if you're going to spend, he made the equivalent, like, $2,100 versus buy the expensive one for $2,000, and it's going to last you the same amount of time 7 cheap ones would have lasted you. So that's why it's good to treat yourself to the highest quality you can afford.
Yeah. Some more affordable brands are great, and I like them better than the more expensive things. But there is something to be said about, especially for tools, is to save and get the good thing, because it is going to last so much longer. I think that applies to like a sewing machine. There are really cheap sewing machines that are terrible. There are also pretty affordable sewing machines that are great.
That are going to last you your whole sewing life.
Yes. Yeah. I have a Brother machine that I love, and it was like $150. Whereas, like, the cheapest Singer is, like, right around $100. So it's not that much more. But a cheap Singer is a cheap sewing machine. And I will use the word cheap because it's cheap.
Poor quality.
Yeah.
It's a brand that has endured, but it isn't. The product does not live up to the
brand. Like a lower end Janome is going to be a much better value, too. Because those are also not that much more as far as price goes. Yeah.
So maybe we can distinguish the difference between inexpensive versus poor quality.
Yeah.
Because sometimes less expensive doesn't get you in the long run.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's true.
Well, another one I think of is I had an art teacher who he was like, never buy student grade. Buy the best thing you can afford. Because if you're trying out a project and you're working with something that isn't made up correctly, like paint without enough pigment, or acrylic yarn and lace, let's say. I'm not bombing acrylic yarn. I'm just saying, like, not right thing to project. You're like not going to get the right outcome,
and you're not going to enjoy it.
You're going to hate it, and you're going to like be fighting your materials the whole time to get the outcome you want.
Yeah.
And you might blame the technique instead of because you didn't have the right tools.
Yeah.
It may not be that you didn't enjoy that process, whereas if you had the right tools, you might have very much enjoyed the process. But we all know what it's like to have something that feels, because what we do is so tactile, having something that feels good in the hand may cost us a little bit more. Maybe we save up for it, wait for those coupons.
Yeah.
Or maybe we have a cool way to have it now.
Yeah.
So go on with your list.
Well, no. So I have a list of affordable brands or suggestions, and then I have a list of like tips and tricks. So as far as brands go, if we want to get specific, as far as knitting needles go, if you want like a affordable one from, I'll say, the craft store, I find that Susan Bates circular needles are really nice. They're metal ones.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They have...
Yeah.
I can't remember which is the brand that I'm thinking of that has like a hard plastic cord, and it's not those. They have like a softer...
Bates sucks.
No, that's the Susan Bates circulars.
I didn't mean Bates. I meant the other B one.
I don't know.
I was thinking C, Clover. The original Clover
maybe we can
cords.
Just have a discussion over. So, are you saying that Clover is a good purchase?
I am saying that when I had nothing else, Clover was fine, but I shouldn't have to go through a lot of hoops to get the cord to soften up.
Yeah.
So Clover. I'm just looking at brands that Michaels carries, so I can figure out what that is that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because actually I like Susan Bates. Susan Bates are my favorite crochet
Velocity
hook.
is the brand that I'm thinking of. Or the style from Susan Bates. They're silver and they have a black cord.
They used to call it a Silverloom.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are...
And I like those a lot, actually.
Plasticky ones with the hard cord, and I can't remember what... They might also be Susan Bates, but like a different...
But what's the one I'm thinking?
Are we talking about the ones like we used to have at Anna Kappa that were plastic tips and kind of rubbery?
No, those are bright sponge, and those were fine.
Yeah, except the joint eventually would start to shatter.
I think Silverloom is the one that I'm thinking of that I don't like, and that's the one with the hard cord, but the Velocity is the one that I have used that I do like. But, you know, it's now that I'm looking at it on the Michaels website, it's like inflation, right? Like everything costs more.
Yep.
They're not as affordable as I thought that they were, because this looks like a 29-inch Velocity needle is round about the same price as what looks like a Knitter's Dream would probably cost, which is a great brand. It's $11.99 for a circular metal needle, which is not, you know, super cheap. Yeah, so you could get yourself on KnitPicks and order a set of wooden needles or anything for, I would guess, around about the same price.
Yeah, or, I mean, I'm going to counter, because accessibility is the thing, too.
And this is also without a coupon, and Michaels always has coupons. So that's, you have to sort of factor that into the price, too.
So accessibility, I agree.
Yeah.
On go with Susan Bates. But... local yarn shop, and you can pretty much get these on Amazon anytime, but if your local yarn shop carries Knitter's Pride, go with Zings.
Yes, that's my next suggestion. Is a set of Knitter's Pride Zing interchangeables will take you a very long way.
Yes.
And they're like $75, I think, for the kit, which I know it's like when you buy your first interchangeable set, it's like, I'm never going to need another needle, which you will. But they will take you a very long way. But, like, isn't that a perfect Christmas present?
Yes.
A birthday present?
Oh, my gosh. The first time Lois gifted us interchangeable needles, I almost cried.
Well, those were...
And then the next time...
Those were Addie's.
Yeah, I know. And then the next time I almost cried.
But, one pair of Knitter's Pride Zings, or, you know, if you prefer wood needles, they have the... What are they called? Dreams?
Yeah.
Those are great. And they're, you know, it looks like not so much different as far as price goes. But again, Michaels or Joann's is going to have a coupon for you, so
that's true.
That's something to think about. Crochet hooks. I find most crochet hooks are already pretty cheap, at least the ones at Michaels or Joann's. The majority of them are probably metal, but they have wooden ones as well. But I use a metal crochet hook for pretty much everything.
I love Susan Bates.
Yeah.
Crochet hooks. Love them.
I don't know which brand it is
Karin is making a face
that I love, but there's one that I am very adamant about. I don't know anything
about Susan Bates crochet hooks, actually.
Oh. See, they have this kind of like the top of the hook comes together and it has like almost a crease or like a... Like, it's like a blade.
Does it have, like, the knife edge?
Yeah.
Because those are the ones I don't like.
Oh, I
like
those.
the roundy ones.
Nope.
Okay.
So
I think
I like a pointy head.
A pointy head.
A pointy head. I think the ones...
On a crochet hook.
Yeah.
I don't know what the brand is that I like. But, I mean, that's a personal preference thing. And they carry both styles.
Well, see, but then I go to Knitter's Pride aluminum hooks because they are ultra smooth. Like, I can do a slip stitch in one move, which usually I need to do, like, loop.
Yeah. Loop. So Boy is
smooth.
The brand that I like, and that's the brand of knitting needles you should not get.
Yes, that's what I meant to say when I said Bates sucks.
Yes,
because that was a
lie.
So
I Susan Bates crochet hooks are the ones Anne likes. I like the Boy crochet hooks, but that's a personal preference thing. They're both metal, metal crochet hooks. But again, a crochet hook is usually not too expensive, and there are very expensive
yes.
ones if you wanted to get real fancy. I have never in my life purchased a crochet hook that cost any more than $8 or $10.
Yeah.
I think
a splurge was I bought an Addy something.
Yeah, but crochet hooks are extremely accessible now too, because crocheting is super popular right now.
Yep.
And a lot of people are doing it. So, and my favorite affordable crochet hooks are the ones you can get from Daiso.
The best.
They're so good. They have.
How do I not write that part down?
You know, they have like the
Daiso.
little rubber.
I love that
handle, and they have the swoopy head that I like instead of the nice.
I don't mind the swoopy head if it's super smooth, which these are super smooth.
Daiso. So if you are ever in Daiso, which is a Japanese discount store, you pick up a couple of their crochet hooks. Everything's $1.50, I think, at Daiso, or something like that.
Most things are $1.50.
Yes, they have other things that are more expensive, but their crochet hooks are fantastic.
Yes.
And then I have a couple of my favorite yarns that are also affordable. One that I have already talked about, which is Karin Cotton Cakes, which I love very much. They used to make it in solid colors. They don't make it in solid colors right now. I'm hoping that they decide to do that again in the future, because I love that yarn.
Just keep putting it in the universe.
Yeah, because right now all they have are the stripy ones, which are great, but sometimes I just want a solid color. Mm-hmm. That would be lovely. But that's a cotton acrylic base, and it's such a good bang for your buck, because I don't remember... let me see if I can figure out how much a cake is, but with this sweater I just finished, I think it was 3 balls of yarn, and they're on sale right now at Michael's for $6.99 a ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
A sweater for less than $20.
Yeah, it's great. Lion brand Heartland is the yarn that I used for my other crocheted sweater, and I've made it.
That's pretty.
For kids stuff too. That's 100% acrylic. It is such a good feel because it's nice and soft, but it's got like a little bit of sheen to it, but not in like a cheapy acrylic shiny way.
Mm-hmm. That sweater looks like everything that's good in fall.
Yes.
Like I want to climb in.
Lion brand Heartland is a worsted weight, so it's around about 251 yards. It's on sale for $4 right now.
Ooh. A-R-T or E-A-R-T?
H-E-A-R-T. So that's another one. That's an acrylic. And then as far as wool goes, Knit Picks, Wool of the Andes, or what is their... Swish. Or
yeah.
Swift, one of those two.
Swish.
Swish is very nice.
It's a very nice yarn. And again, those sort of things are on sale pretty often.
All the time. They have pretty reliable sales cycles.
And look out for when they start to discontinue stuff, because the yarn is really good and it goes to a really, really great price.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the... I didn't come up with a lot as far as like sewing options go, like for fabric and stuff. But Joann's with the coupons, they have a lot of brands that, you know, you can get other places as well as their own in-house brands. And I wouldn't use, you know, well, I have, like the Joann's, like quilting cotton can be not the best quality, but if you're making like a baby blanket, not like an heirloom quality thing that's gonna, you know, that you want to last for years and years and years, you know, you're making a little gift or something for yourself or something, I think that their fabric is fine. I mean, it's not the same quality as you're going to get at like a nice quilting store, but...
It's all about the coupon on their quilting cottons, though,
yes.
because they are what is known in the industry as third run,
which
means like they have low thread count, and sometimes they feel good and sometimes they don't.
Yes.
But they have fun prints, so if you just want like a little blurb of something
cute.
I have plenty of that in my stash.
Yes, it works well for a lot of things. Like if you're not making quilts, but like masks or, you know, tote bags, you know, little drawstring bags, like it's perfect for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that they tried to make a case that they were essential for people to make masks. Like, we have to stay open, we're essential. I mean, I'm not going to disagree.
Right? We all need fabric.
And that fabric got put to use for something essential.
Yeah.
Karin, what's on your list?
Any brands that I didn't mention or specific things that you like?
Well, I like to go to Knit Picks.
Yeah.
That's my first stop, is because they're so affordable. A lot of times if I get a sweater's quantity, it might be free shipping. But even if it's not, their shipping cost is really, really reasonable.
Also, Hobby or whatever,
That's on
they
my
have
list.
a whole sale section of the things that are on sale this month. I think everything's on sale all the time. But
at some point,
it will be
thing
cheaper.
You want is going to be a real cheap deal.
Yes.
So the yarn Hobby's at the top of my list. It's my current
I didn't mean to interrupt Karin in her middle of the thing, but it was just up on my page, so I saw it.
So I will go to Knit Picks first, and because I pretty much like everything for the most part from Knit Picks. I think the only thing I found that I still love, and I made a gazillion things out of it, is their Wonder Fluff. It is mislabeled as far as weight goes. Whether you knit or crochet with it, it works as a worsted, not as a bulky, though they list it as bulky because of the quantity of yardage that you get. But it's a chainette construction, and it's so wonderfully soft. But we just got some Mighty Stitch recently for them for like $2.99 a ball.
And they're like sister, it's the same thing, but We Crochet is like the same thing as Knit Picks,
it's the same company,
branded differently. So either of those two things, it's the same thing.
Oh, is it a separate website? I think
it's a separate website, and I don't exactly know why they do that, but
I don't know, because when I get the bill, it says We Crochet, and it comes in a box that says We Crochet.
They're two different websites. I don't know why.
So check out We Crochet then,
because crocheters feel ostracized when you.
I get it.
It's called Knit Picks.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I get that. Tools. My favorite things are the Knitter's Pride, but sometimes it's hard to find them. I will try to find them at Jimmy Beans or at yarn.com, which also has some good sales, even though they don't ship as quickly as I'd like. But it is hit and miss as far as sometimes they're quick and sometimes they're horribly slow. I can track it, and it feels like it goes through every state in the union before it gets to my house. And sometimes it'll get to California and go back someplace else before it comes to me. But that's not their fault. That's actually the post office. But since Knitter's Pride and Knit Picks needles and hooks are the same thing, coming out of the same factory, I will look for the sizes that I love them both. I like the hooks. I can get my interchangeable hooks at Knit Picks because I do a lot of Tunisian crochet. And I like that whether it's the Knit Picks or the zings or, the cables are also interchangeable. So that's pretty handy. I have gotten one of those luxury hooks, and I love it, but I will enjoy it as my only luxury hook because for the price of that one hook, I could get many other hooks. So that's why I'm not gonna tell the name, because this is all about what's affordable. And my everyday hooks that I go to now, I do like a pointy crochet hook. Not just that the hook is pointy, but the head is pointy, because the rounded ones I feel like I have to force in.
Do you have something that because I'm wondering
so
what you
like
mean
this,
by a pointy.
So this one's I'll have to go in the other room for the pointy one. But so this is the Knitter's Pride, and you can see it's really rounded.
Yeah.
And that's fine in the larger sizes where my stitches are bigger. It's a little easier to get into. But in the smaller ones, but the hook itself is really pointy. Yeah. It's got a nice beak.
I find that when I was making the this sweater, the one that Stony Shore, the cardigan, every time I came out of those bobble stitches, I was snagged on something because I was using a pointier hook like that. So I switched to a roundy one, and it was smooth sailing.
So if you had a pointy head but a rounded hook, that might be because I like being able to get into the stitch easy. But
I'm sure it depends on the yarn and the project.
No, you're right. There are times where the pointier hook portion, beak, whatever, it does snag a little bit.
See, I'd say that the clover kind of has a rounded point.
Is that a more?
It's sort of halfway.
So. Those are very nice.
Yeah, I like them.
And those, I have some of those, and it's got a nice grip.
I'm looking at the We Crochet website, and they have their copycat version of the Amore hooks, those are a little pricey. There's a set
I'm gonna go grab my other hook.
Okay.
What website? I'm sorry.
The We Crochet website. So Amore.
That's Knitter's Pride. That's
it's the same thing.
Pride, yeah.
Knit Picks. Yeah. They have a set of 10 hooks, and it's $80 because they're not the cheapest hooks or the most affordable. their We Crochet brand, which I haven't tried, but they look very similar. 9 hooks for $10. So I might treat myself to that kit.
That's the kind of hook I like.
Yeah.
Like, because that is technically a Knitter's Pride hook.
Yeah, see, there's the picture of the top. It's got a pointy top and like a... Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks very similar.
Looks extreme. It might be better because look at that, how it's machined into the... Yeah, I really like the aluminum hooks.
So here's my fancy one. And it is...
Oh, that is literally a very pointy head.
Yeah.
And a pointy... And it says swivel at the bottom. But I love a swivel. Not everybody loves a swivel, but this is on a Tunisian hook. But if I wanted to take this off, the fancy one does have an end. Because, you know, anytime I've tried using the interchangeable hooks just as hooks, not without the cable. But then the little screw that's hanging out the outside always rubs weird on my hand.
Where's the size? I mean, I'm sure you know the size.
You're just supposed to know because it's fancy.
That's one down.
It's like when things don't have prices on them at the store because it's fancy. You don't have to ask.
Well, it's not practical. I mean, it's fancy, but they still should have.
Well, yeah.
Hook.
I mean, you only have the one, so you know what size it is.
True, but I always still have to look at it. I have to use my gauge. Or look at my receipt, like which it's okay. This is a 7, so which is weird because it's not a G, it's not an H, it's that one in between.
One weird size.
That one weird size. So
nice.
Anyway, so yeah, I enjoy it.
What's it made of?
It's made from like some kind of some heavy duty steel.
Fancy.
It's like surgical type steel kind of thing.
It's actually quite pretty.
And it's got a really nice feel to the hand, but
we're talking about affordable things though.
We're talking about affordable.
That is a fancy thing.
That's fancy.
But see, so that's a place where you like treated yourself, but you don't necessarily see the value of doing that again in the future.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a wonderful thing, but I just can't live. You know, I need to eat sometimes,
right? And
I can't like splurge on that. That's not in my budget.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So there was hooks and tools. Like you said, I agree with Katie. Look for those coupons because you might be able to get something a little nicer with a coupon.
Yeah, and also on the store's website, they usually have more things than they have in store.
Yeah.
So they'll have different brands on their website than in store, and the coupons will probably apply to those things too. And they have like the nicer brands. Like I saw on the Michael's website, Knit Picks, which they don't carry in store, but you could probably get them with the coupon.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Now, will they? Some of these places will ship to the store, so you don't have to pay for shipping.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, that's another way to save if you're willing to go to the local store. But sometimes they're online only. But you know,
on the subject of Knitter's Pride, like there's something like an undercurrent that I'm feeling like a layer of guilt, even though this is an honest portrayal of how I shop. Like a lot of these things are bad for our local store.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that preface, you can find the Knit Picks needles very easily on Amazon. Yeah. Like I think that's why we're not finding them on our usual, because our next stop after local yarn shop would be to support the knitting specific sites, right?
Yeah.
Because Jimmy Bean's technically is a local yarn shop. They just have figured out
They're
really
just
good
local
online.
to Nevada. Yeah. To Las Vegas.
Are they in Vegas now? I think in Reno.
Oh, Reno.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Reno.
Because trust me, I would have been there.
Right? I have family in Reno. I should go visit them.
They're doing a treat. They're offering their retreat again. I was like, oh, we need to plan our next trip.
Yeah.
It's like $3,000
for
double occupancy.
Maybe
too.
not.
Like,
wow.
Can we figure out a 3-way split?
Even then, that's $1,000 each.
No. Well, it's each person.
Yeah.
So your portion of double occupancy was at least a couple grand. I might be saying it wrong.
Oh, yeah. That's not split 2 ways. That's $3,000 each.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ruled it out.
Okay. Thank you for not offering that.
Does that include chips at the local casino?
Well, that's what I was like. Yeah, that's a good question, Karin. I'm like, are you buying me a lot of yarn and swag to go with that?
What do I get for this? What do I get for free but not?
So if you're having trouble finding the Knitter's Pride, you can get it pretty easily on Amazon.
Yeah, I think...
And then you get the 2-day Prime, usually. I mean, not everything that says Prime is 2 days.
That's true.
A lot of Prime... You get less and less with Prime than you used to.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times it's 3-day, but
yeah. I should say that there's a big asterisk at the beginning of this episode, is that if you can afford to support your local store, please do that. Even if you're going to get it faster from Amazon, they appreciate it so much, and you appreciate having them there.
You'll be sorry when they're gone.
Exactly, and we are. So if you can afford to, then any good local store should offer options too. So not just the only brand is, some expensive brand.
Yeah, because the secret is that they're not buying it from each of these suppliers per se, depending on the brands they carry. If you go into your local yarn shop and they don't have Knitter's Pride, Zings, or Dreams, I would bet you 39 cents that you could ask the yarn shop owner, I need this size in this brand, can you get it? And I'll bet you they can.
I want a set of Clover crochet hooks. I bet they could probably order those for you.
Especially if you preface it with, I want to support you.
I would love to give you my business.
I am looking to support you and not go online.
Yep.
Because it's a real killer.
Yes.
And yet, I mean, I try to balance my purchases across, because sometimes you just have to be smart with your money.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't always do that, but if you can, that's great. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So hobby is at the top of my list, and it's like the place I keep going. So I know I have in the past been amazed at how quickly the yarn travels to me, but they're putting it as a 6 to 20 day out right now.
Yeah.
So it's not like I need to start this project next week. It's like, I like this, I'll make it eventually kind of purchase.
Yes.
They do have access to Knit Pro, which is the European version of Knitter's Pride. So again, if you're having trouble finding those, Knit Pro is the same brand, but branded for Europe.
Yeah.
And they're lovely. And I think they kind of got the Knitter's Pride exposure ahead of us, because I remember seeing Zing style needles with British knitters a long time, and I'm like, those are so pretty. They look like the super expensive ones that you can get, like Stiletto.
Yes, the fancy.
I can't remember the brand name right now.
I don't
remember. These are gorgeous. How do I get these? And it took a while for the U.S. to get access to Zings, which I love. I love Zings. Fixed cable interchangeables. I treated myself to a set of the smaller DPNs around Christmas time.
I have those. They're really nice.
I like them a lot. But Hobie, I'm making sweaters for $20-$30.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's nice yarn. And they have these deep sales. And they also have things that are just as expensive as your local yarn shop.
Yes, definitely.
But there's a lot of good deals and a lot of good variety. So I find myself poking around a lot on there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to my 4th order from them coming any day now in the post. I think that you can find a lot of great things at the dollar store. Yeah. Which we've kind of talked about by mentioning Daiso, because that's essentially a Japanese dollar store. Those hooks are fantastic.
Yes.
And then sometimes they get cool little balls of yarn.
Yeah.
Our local Dollar Tree, which is now the $1.25 tree. They have a little Karin brand of yarn.
Yeah.
They have an acrylic and a cotton, which you're making toys or something. Those acrylics are going to be perfect little pops of color, and it's very hard to find a little bitty ball when you don't need a huge, 150 gram skein of neon orange.
I was using that yarn when I was crocheting those coffee cup sleeves, because it was just fun color combinations, and it was fine.
Oh, that actually felt pretty good. I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, well, not all of them were, but a lot of them were. I once was at the Dollar Tree and I found a box of yarn, and it was Patton's Classic Wool Superwash DK in a purple color, and it was these little 50 gram balls, and all they had were purple, and I bought 18 of them or something, because it was I bought what they had and I made a sweater out of it, and it was
that's fantastic.
I don't know how they got it or where it came from, but I didn't ask questions, I just bought it.
Yeah. Run, take it and run. So you get these little surprises at dollar stores.
Yeah.
Like 99-cent store, I don't know if they do this as much, but they were like sort of like Ross and TJ Maxx. They're a product like reclamation, where they're going to take something that didn't sell and sell it to you as a discount.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes you get like amazing things like that. Locally, if you're in Southern California or visiting Southern California, let's say you're taking the trip of your lifetime and you're going to Disneyland. Only a few miles away from Disneyland is Fabric Disneyland.
Yeah.
M&L, which is, was it a Journey Ladies?
Oh, it was something.
It's a very special, ginormous warehouse full of fabric.
I've never seen so much fabric in my life.
It was huge.
They are like Alexander Henry their headquarters are near where M&L is. And so that's why there's so much Alexander Henry there, which is a premium fabric.
Yeah.
And you're getting, and just because it's like a couple years out of date, the collections, you're getting stuff that you would pay like $12.95.
Yeah.
Push up to $16.85 for like $5 or $6 a yard.
Yeah.
And then the flat folds, like, tip number one, if you go there, so they have flat folds that are not bolted and you have to like dig out what you see. You got that Carolyn Friedlander, is that her name?
Yep.
For $2.90.
Yes.
$2.95 a yard.
I also got some Anagram, which is Noodlehead, one of her collections, cotton linen blend, like a canvasy weight, that I have 2 yards of, that I'm like, what do I do with 2 yards of this? I don't know, but I have it.
Yeah, and you got it out in what I've noticed, and I sort of noticed them doing this the last time I was there, sometimes they take stuff from the flat folds and bolt it. And then they put it where the bolted fabric is.
Yeah.
And if you buy it off the bolt, then it's like $5.95, $6.95.
Right, but the same thing is in the flat
folds.
folds.
So check the flat folds
Smart.
and do a little digging first.
You just gotta have some time when you go and expectations.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
And then in the back room is where all the like more garments
fancy
fabrics are. Like they have so much knit. Like I don't even know how to describe the length of the wall where all the different knits are. It's Shangri-La.
Yeah.
But
and
they're
also,
not online
like,
at all.
weird stuff.
Yes.
Like, lots of weird stuff.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I don't know what this is for, but they have it in every color.
Yeah.
Hey, I bought a long trim of just feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like 6-inch feathers hanging off a trim. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with it, but I got 2 yards of it.
It creatively inspired you.
And if I had gone to a standard, even at a Joann's, it would have cost me, I couldn't afford it.
No, it would be a very expensive
it's a very
trim.
cool place.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're hitting Disneyland, check out M&L. And then they have another store that is also very close, but I think it's actually in Huntington Beach. M&L is on Ball, which is one of the cross streets for Disneyland.
Yep.
They have another one that's closer to Huntington Beach called Jenny's Fabrics, but it's the same, but it's smaller. It's much smaller. I think Jenny's is a little bit more like they have more garment fabric.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a real special treat.
Cool.
Yeah, those are my tips.
Nice.
Those are the places I want to shop and like overload my stash with.
So my list of tips and tricks include, we've already talked about looking for coupons. A lot of places, especially online, there's that browser extension. We are not sponsored by Honey, but I have the Honey browser extension installed, and it pops up when there are coupon codes. And a lot of times when I'm shopping, they're like, hey, do you want this? I can get you a couple dollars off. And I'm like, thank you so much. So look for your coupons. There are about 5 trillion free patterns on the internet, as well as, like we were saying, with, like, for whatever reason, crochet designers want to give you their pattern for free as long as you look at the ads on their blog, which I guess is how they're making their money off of it.
If that's working, great.
And a lot of pattern designers now are also offering like a pay what you can option, which I think is fantastic, with coupon codes, so you can, and you wouldn't have to feel, you know, weird about it, because I have done it before, and using a coupon code for that, it's wonderful. If you have favorite designers, like specific designers, follow them on Instagram and turn on your post notifications, because the majority of the time when they release a new pattern for the first day, it's discounted. You know, 20% off if you buy it today only. So if you're on it, you can usually get it for a discount. if that's, what they do. But a lot of designers do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to substitute yarn,
Absolutely.
which is a lot of more beginners are afraid to choose something outside of what the pattern is. The other thing is to get creative and have an open mind when you're looking at yarn, because like I would have passed up that purple and black yarn and not thought to make a sweater, but Anne was like, hey, look at this beautiful free yarn, and now she has a beautiful sweater.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See, you just have to think outside the box a little bit. And when you're looking at like the sales sections of websites and like hobby and stuff, you're like, well, what the heck would I make with this? You just buy a sweater's worth and then you figure it out.
Yeah, that's how you build a stash, guys. Yep.
And having a stash is great for, saving money, because, when you find that pattern that you want to make, go in your stash and you're like, oh my God, look at this. I found a sweater's worth of great yarn at this discounted price and it's perfect for this. So I think a lot of the time if you go in without a pattern specifically in mind, but roughly you need, however much for a sweater, then that's great, because then you can find something to do with it later.
Yeah, like I know, what I need ish in fingering and ish in worsted, and then you can kind of mishmash for sport or DK. So then when I'm out shopping, I'm like, oh yeah, this is enough to do something.
Yeah, and then you figure out what that something is later.
Yeah, and I would say that a really good habit is to not lose your train of thought.
That's a great idea.
You can just cut that right out.
That's okay. One of my other suggestions is getting into yarn/fabric upcycling.
Yes.
I read Anne's mind and I figured out what it was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You got the train back on the track.
Go to the thrift stores.
Yes.
And like we used to work with Terry, who worked at Ann Kappa.
Upcycle Queen.
She would find beautiful cashmere sweaters and take them all apart and turn them into other beautiful cashmere sweaters or hats or garments.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to dig, because that's how you find the things. Sometimes you'll stumble upon it easily, but a lot of the time it's a lot of digging and going to a lot of stores and thrifting. You have to have the patience for that. But also fabric in the same way. You go look at the fabric section, or like the bed sheets or quilts, or, there's lots of options. I've seen people, I think I've talked about her before, Kate Conkers on Instagram, and her name is Kait, Conkers, like CONQ, whatever. She upcycles thrift store garments all the time. So she'll like buy a wedding dress and dye it and take it apart and turn it into other things. One.
She poses in front of the hutch.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. She's adorable. I love her.
So she's like inspiration, forever with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to do the digging to find those things.
Yeah. So I think it'd be a good time to pause and talk about what kind of sweaters you can take yarn from.
Sure.
So what you're looking, and stop me if I miss something, what you're looking for is actually sewn seams.
Yeah.
So a lot of commercial cheap sweaters are cut out of pre-knitted fabric and they're serged together. You're looking for something that if you pulled a seam apart, it's going to be two distinct full pieces of fabric. Because otherwise you're just going to get tons of little pieces of yarn.
You can go on Google and do a Google image search for serged seams, so you know exactly what it looks like and what you're looking for, because it'll be pretty easy to spot once you know what it looks like.
Yes, that's a good tip.
Because if you buy that serged sweater and you take the seam apart, you're going to have one row's worth of yarn over and over, so you're going to have hundreds of tiny little pieces and not be able to do anything with it except for tie it all back together if you wanted to.
If that's a look you're going for. I suppose you could just magic knot one row at a time.
I suppose you could.
And I have only dabbled in this pursuit of reclaiming sweaters. But I was not unraveling them. I would take the sleeve, open the sleeve, and just start knitting
from the sleeve.
A sleeve
from
the sleeve.
You could do that too.
Then you have enough yarn to make a sleeve.
That's true.
And it wasn't like I was taking one stockinette sleeve and doing another, because that's where I started to feel like, this feels like a hamster wheel.
Right?
But it was like a stockinette men's sweater that I was making a lace sweater or something.
Yeah, you can find nice things. The other thing I would say to look for when you're looking for yarn to reclaim from sweaters is a lot of commercial garments are knitted with multiple strands of thinner yarn to make it chunkier. So if you find what looks like a worsted or a chunky, try and pull the yarn apart a little bit and a lot of them are just like 3 or 4 strands of separate yarn, which is fine if you want to take those apart and then you have an infinite amount of yarn. But knitting with it and unraveling it can kind of be a pain in the butt if it's not a solid piece of yarn. So that's one other thing to look for. And then remaking failed projects. Mm-hmm. You know, you spent the money on that beautiful yarn, but you don't love the sweater or the hat or whatever. Mm-hmm. Take it apart. Yeah. It feels bad at the time, but maybe throw it in a drawer for a minute and then do it.
I find something very satisfying about cannibalizing the project. Yeah. So rather than having to rip it all out and wind it, I leave it intact in that, and I will unknit the one
to knit the other.
And it's very satisfying.
I think in some horror movies the villain has like eaten the person while they're alive. Like, I'm just gonna take a toe now. Yeah.
To me, it's like
watch it.
It's like that, you know, that impossible thing in Scooby-Doo. You know, where someone runs off with a strand, and somehow while the person's wearing the sweater, it unravels around their body, even though they're not moving. And that's not really physically possible. But it kind of feels that way, like,
I never thought about that, actually.
You would have to spin around in circles or take the seams out first.
It just doesn't unravel like that.
That's very true. That's maybe a scarf it would work.
Yeah. But no, I can totally picture it, and you're right.
That's not doesn't work that way.
Can I add a comment about upcycling?
Please.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I follow Lisa Woolfork, Black Women Stitch.
Oh, I just started following her. I like her.
She made this fabulous coat from Marimekko Comforter.
Yeah, I saw that. It's so cute.
So much work and so gorgeous. But she does that. She's the one who got me to think, you know, if you find a really cool sheet, you can turn that into a dress.
Yeah, of course.
And that sheet cost way less than the fabric, and it's a lot wider than you can buy fabric. So you can even maybe put sometimes, you know, for those of us who are larger sizes, sometimes it's really hard to be able to get a whole front or a whole back on within the width of, like, if you're spending like a wide skirt or something like that. Think about shopping, like you said, looking at the thrift store at the sheets and looking to that as garment fabric.
Yeah. I mean, quilt coats are very popular right now. Coats. You're gonna piss off Mary Fawns if you do that, but
I actually ordered some like old vintage. Someone was selling some old vintage quilts.
Yeah.
I'll make them pajamas out of them.
That sounds wonderful, and I fully support you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know someone handmade these, but I'm going to cut and mix and match them and have the most comfortable, cozy pajamas. And they're cotton, so it's not like I'm not going to be able to wear them later on.
I love
but
that.
wouldn't they be great quilted pajamas?
Yeah, I think that'll be wonderful.
I
hope she doesn't haunt you.
Someone made a comment and said, "You'll never have to make your bed because you're wearing it. Your covers."
I love that.
That's good. That's hilarious.
As if I'm like, haha, fooled you. I don't make my bed anyway.
A ditto.
Those are all of my tips and tricks that I came up with. Anybody else have anything on their list that they want to touch on?
No, I like shopping, so I stuck to the stores I like to shop.
I also like shopping. Well, anybody obsessed with anything exciting this month?
Yes.
Good. Tell me.
Okay, so it's not even in honor of your birthday.
Okay.
But I'm like, pretty much today, I am obsessed with the idea of pranks. I'm not like a good prankster.
Okay.
But I love the idea of
How are you not a good prankster?
Because
it would be
they're
like
a
in
little
your
bit
DNA.
mean-spirited. Like, I think even like the nicest pranks, like the idea of tricking you and fooling you, I do like, but like I like it very low stakes.
This is why it is not fair that nobody else has to deal with this on their birthday.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So again, it has nothing to do with your birthday.
Okay, good.
So I came across a list of like work safe pranks.
Okay.
And a lot of them made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, it's kind of good to know that.
So I'm really considering this one for tomorrow, which is you buy a box of donuts. Is jelly filled is really good. And then you put a little post-it on the box that says, Happy April Fool's Day.
Oh, and they're perfectly fine, but you don't know if... Oh my god, that's so funny. That is so safe.
Okay, so then the other one I liked...
With a little winky face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
The other one I liked, and instead of... I thought, like, I could do this because it is absolutely harm-free. But I was worried about people's reactions when you tell them. So instead, all day I ask people, what would you say if I came in and I told you I slashed your tires?
Okay.
Now they're worried about it.
Okay. And then you go outside and on your tires, and I would do all 4 tires, there's a picture of slash the guitars.
Oh, that's funny.
I loved, like...
Or you say, oh my God, somebody slashed your tires.
I think it's kind of fun to be like, I slashed your tires. So I asked one guy who's kind of quiet, thoughtful.
I totally want to do that now.
And he had no idea where I was. Because, like, one of my other coworkers, like, I was reading them out loud when they amused me. So he knew where my head was. So I said, hey, what would you do if I came in tomorrow and I said I slashed your tires? And he just looked at me like, what is this about?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I guess I'd have to go to the tire store.
That's very cute.
That's so nice. You're like not mad at me at all.
I guess I'd have to go to the tire store.
And then we asked another guy who's like, well, why would you do such a thing? Which is the expected outcome. Yeah. And then
what is wrong with you?
I guess I'm going to have to file a police report. I love
those are very different responses.
He's like, I got the handcuffs. I'm making a citizen's arrest.
Oh my God. That's so
he's
funny.
like, well, I hope I'd go out and see that it was just a picture of Slash before I called the police.
Yeah. Don't swear.
Those are my 2 favorite responses.
That's awesome.
And then the other one I think you guys are going to like. You might want to do this with me.
Okay.
Okay. So you leave a note on someone's car when you have done nothing to their car, and you write, sorry for the damage.
Oh.
I make them look all around.
For the people who park in our
Oh my God. For the people who park in our parking space.
Come on now. It's even better than
as long as you don't sign it.
Yeah. It's even better than my hand. So my I think I've shared this. My strategy for them, we can't fight them anymore. They're not going to respect this. So I just put a smudgy handprint right where the driver would be looking.
Yeah.
I like this. Sorry for the damage.
Sorry for the damage.
Just make them look.
That's so funny.
That's funny. No, I go there and I say, I saw your person. Make them move their car. I will stand here and wait until they go and move their car.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Yeah, I don't think it's them. I think it's like their clients sometimes.
Yeah,
but they should be the ones.
Sign on the door.
We set the expectation to not do that.
That's all they need is a little sign that says, don't park in other people's spots.
Yep. Also, I mean, come on.
Right, I could understand if you would assume that we wouldn't be here, but we're here at 8 o'clock at night. You know, a lot of places are closed, but still.
They're here at odd hours.
Yeah.
Why do they assume that nobody else is here at odd hours?
Know.
I mean,
I mean, we were fairly warned not to do it, that it had been conflict in the past.
Yeah.
So every time I think about cheating at it, I think, what if somebody from one of the other businesses comes here at this weird hour, just needs to run in real quick, and their spot's not available to them?
Yeah.
That would upset me.
I would also be mad.
And my luck would be that it would happen every time.
Yes.
I don't cheat at it in the same way that I don't park in handicap spots. I just don't on principle.
You know what
it just
I don't understand is there are plenty of options. They're just not the most convenient one.
Yeah.
There are always empty parking spots. You just have to walk a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I almost never park in our spot because I'm
save
usually
for our
coming
people.
when our clients are coming.
Yeah.
So I just park directly across from it.
Yep. Or to the side, or there's lots of options.
Yep. Of unmarked spaces. So anyway, that's
Pranks.
I love it.
That's
I want to
really
do.
funny.
I want to do that one.
Keeps them in your car.
Yeah.
I'm totally up for that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Sorry for the damage.
Sorry for the damage. I like that.
Yeah. So that's my obsession. It'll fade very quickly.
Sure.
Sometime after midnight tomorrow.
They come and go so quickly.
But you know what? It's a fun exercise.
Yeah.
Just ask people, what would you do if
What would you do?
told you I slashed your tires? And I just I'm going to treasure that one forever. I guess I'd go to the tire store.
I mean, that's very cute.
Absolutely precious.
Karin, do you have an obsession?
I actually don't. I've been so focused on money and spreadsheets that I have not even listened. I guess the only thing I'm obsessed with is, I am obsessed with my new, there's headphones that you sleep in.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I have a set of those. I never use them. But it sounded like a great idea when I bought them.
I use them Also because I got a second one because it's wider, so it'll also cover my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing is, it's starting to wear on the nights where it's warmer. It's a little too warm to wear that, and then when if it's too warm to wear it, that means I got to listen to my husband snore. Whereas when it's cool, I can wear it and it totally tunes it out. And I listen to the Calm app, and I listen to like crickets and stuff. But that's what I do.
Nice.
How about a sleep apnea machine for him? Because snoring is an early indicator of sleep apnea.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do that. He won't sleep on it. Although it probably would be better for him than me poking him and kicking him.
It definitely would be better. I'm on the edge of investigating getting one for myself because I know I'm snoring more and more and more, and I can feel it's like dryness and stuff on the top of my throat.
Yeah.
My husband tries to do the neti pot, which is like, I know it sounds gross. I could never do it. It's just too weird to me.
It's not the water flow.
But it doesn't seem to help him.
It's not the water flow that I have a problem with. It's the people who got the brain parasites from using tap water.
Oh, well.
Because there's an open entrance to your brain at the top of your nasal passage.
You're supposed to use saline. It's supposed to be saline.
Yeah, so there's little salt packets.
Yeah.
And then you use whatever water source. So people were using tap water.
Yeah.
Ew.
And the saline packet. And because the saline is just how much salt is in there. So you're really supposed to use like distilled water.
Right.
Yeah.
And the saline packet. So even though I would only ever do it that way.
I bet he does the tap water because it's convenient because it's right there.
Yeah. So anyway.
Something to think about.
Honestly, he just needs to go get a prescription for his sinuses.
And you push. So like Kevin was on the edge. His doctor's like, yeah, after your sleep study, we can kind of detect it. So you're just on the edge. It's not bad enough for a machine. It's like, but can you order me a machine?
Can I have one anyway?
Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. So if you just push back a little bit, you get it.
Yeah.
At least with Kaiser.
Well, yeah.
That's it. Kay, what are you obsessed by?
I have an Instagram account that I found called I'd Knit That. It's id.knit.that.
I like it.
Go in there.
She is a fiber artist in the sense that her pieces that she knits are art pieces. And I stole from her website the description of how of her like take on it. It says Kendall's work celebrates femininity through women-dominated crafts and subject material. Kendall hand knits, embroiders, and beads wearable pieces to tell the story of what it feels and looks like to be a young woman in a way that approaches the subjects as important and necessary topics in art, combining traditionally feminine crafts, women's history, and her personal experience as a young woman inspires work that is unapologetically feminine. And it's these garments that mostly have text worked into them.
There was someone else I followed a long time ago who like had a similar.
Why do you care if I'm nice? It did not work for you. I love this one.
So it says like, this one is a vest. It says, do you get it? Do you know what I mean? Is it too feminine? Would you be more impressed with this if a man made it? Are you sure? This one says, was it something I said, with a smiley face? Here's a vest that says, how many likes do you think this will get?
See you next Tuesday. She has a vest that says see you next Tuesday.
What does that mean?
C
the letter
U
yeah.
N T.
So if someone says see you next Tuesday, it's not a very nice thing for them to say to you.
C U N T.
Got
Spell
it.
with me.
Yeah, spell with you. I like this one that says, I don't want to be the bigger person.
Yeah, I like that too. I like this. I have
you
made
don't
this.
know me.
Yeah, I have made this for you. I hope you like. I hope it fits. Tell me if you like it. I read it differently actually. I've made this. I hope you like the way it fits, which is even like sassier.
This one says, I thought this was supposed to calm me down.
I never say that.
No, but some of them are, and she is very prolific. I mean, she posts these all like.
Ooh, look at her cute
every other day.
Oh my god, look at this. It's a cute little gingham patchwork.
Very cute.
I was literally just thinking, what would it look like if I like did some color changes and continued into the next gingham color. And it looks really cute, guys.
Very cute.
Oh my gosh.
But she makes some cute stuff, and I like the I like her take on things.
She did the beaded sweater. I love it.
I love this vest that's ombre in the background, and the text says, "Do you know we still tell stories about you?"
So that is my Instagram account I am obsessed with right now.
Why won't you text me first?
Well, I guess that brings us to the end for our April episode. New classes are on the website right now. So if you want to go sign up for something fun, you can do that. Book club will come out in a couple of weeks, and I think that is all that we have to cover. So I guess we'll see you guys next month. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Strings Unraveled is a production of Strings and Things Studio with Anne Leckervin-Cazzoli, Kaity Von Rader-Fraker, and Karin Wilmoth. Recorded and edited by Kaity Von Rader-Fraker. Find us online at stringsandthingsstudio.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Strings and Things Studio. You can email us at stringsandthingsinfo@gmail.com.